like he's our member, and looks like people are coming in. So you should be live right now. I'm gonna go listen to it, and so you can start talking to people, checking how the sound and stuff is.
So we think we're live.
We should be live.
Are we live? Are we going? Wake up. All right, Rick Snowman, will do. Yes, Bossy Cowgirl. All right, so we are going to chat for a few minutes here, and then we will jump on in. I kind of thought, well, let's be a few minutes early, because my other live streams that have gone right on time, those have been kind of a cluster. We are live. Yep. Hey, thank you, X Positivity, X Bless. Love the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here. So it's been a little bit since we've done a live stream. We had a few things happen. One of my production guys, he got the dreaded Rona. Oh, not the Rona. And I was riding around with him for like a day in the car. And so we had that. Good to go? Okay, thank you. My production manager tells me it's a go. Sound good? How's it sound to you guys? So we had one of our guys get the dreaded Rona, and then we moved office space, and I've got my own studio here now that we can close the door, and we've got some soundproofing, and hopefully this is better. Okay, thank you all. Looks like we are good. So how many of you guys had a position in GameStop? How many of you guys are active investors? Maybe you had a Robinhood account. I kind of think this is an important story. Everybody else in the world has covered it. That's why I'm kind of doing it on a live stream. A little quiet, but audio clear. Okay, I'm going to move it in a little. Spokane, Jimmy Stutzman. Spokane. I'd rather go to Vegas to throw away my money. Yeah, a lot of people are like, what is this magical Robin Hood where you don't pay for trades and yet you can make them? My kid has been trading on Robin Hood now for like 4 years. He had a pretty big position in GameStop, and I told him to sell it, and he said, I'm going to ride it out. He broke even, but he does a lot of day trading. Yeah, I'm deep in. Yeah, so this has been a cluster, hasn't it? I've been just watching this stuff, and it's like, what is going on? In what world do we not allow people to buy stocks on their stock account because one side of the equation is not doing well? It's a crazy deal, isn't it? To the moon. Yeah. And I'm just kind of checking out what you guys are saying, seeing what you're thinking. Do you guys think that the small investor was getting screwed? That's the common sentiment that I'm seeing. You guys seen Dave Portnoy, what he's been saying? Should send all those folks to jail. Prison time for people. There should be arrests. I agree. Made a few shekels and, yeah, agreed. Okay. Yeah, in what market does a certain segment of the, one side of the equation, oh yeah, you guys can't buy, but you other guys, you guys can buy, you guys can only sell. There's closing out people's positions. Absolutely insane. Hey, we're not going to allow you to buy anything today, but we can certainly close you out. Now, you're down 25, 30%, and we hope you're okay with that. And therefore, we're just going to go ahead and close you out. That seems to be kind of what's happened. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's nutty. It's exposing the corrupt. That is absolutely right. Yeah, Robin Hood became the sheriff of Nottingham. Agreed, Internet God. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the commercial that Robinhood ran back in December, but it's just a bunch of like really normal looking people, and they're just emphasizing that, hey, we're all in this together. We're all investing together, and here's the platform for you as the common folk to invest. And then all of a sudden, they are basically stopping the ability for those investors to trade. Just took them off, and that just creates a crash. I mean, and it has, GameStop has dropped, and just a nutty, yeah, make fleas jump off, crazy, off a dog. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played the market since Enron done. And I don't do a lot of stock market stuff. I've got I've got an investment account, and I have somebody else basically manage that. But day trading, I don't have the time nor the discipline, because you got to get in, got to get out. If you don't, and that's where I'm kind of at, is with anybody with a large GameStop position, I don't think that's going to end up well. I mean, that thing is worth, what is that worth? $10 a share? If that. It started off at like $5. I mean, yeah, Robinhood ended up being a puppet of big brokers. Yeah, and we'll get into some of that. It's kind of like, all right, so if you're one of the owners of Robinhood and you shut trading down to a certain segment of your clientele, which is basically, traders, regular people, regular investors, are those people going to stick around and go, yeah, you shut me down once, I'm just going to wait around for this to happen again. I really want this to happen again, so I'm going to keep my account with you because you guys treated me so well in the past. No. So somebody had some major influence with Robinhood. And it's not just Robinhood, it's a handful of other brokerages as well, but Robinhood was the big one. So, yeah, so lawsuits. Yeah, we've already got the lawsuits going on. And that's going to be a huge, huge factor, isn't it? There won't be arrests. I don't think there'll be arrests anyway, either. Wall Street just always seems to skip on by, no matter what. They've got everybody in their back pockets. They've got all the money. Yeah, they do have a lawsuit. There's a couple of big ones out there already. But you know what? I was kind of working through, just watching a lot of videos on this yesterday, preparing for this live stream, because I do want to be somewhat knowledgeable. And I don't do a lot of day trading, but I've done enough in the past. I did more day trading back in like 2000, right up to that 2001 crash. Do you guys remember that one? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but that was not a good one. There's still a lot of older people out there, and by older I mean generation older than me, that lost their rear end in the tech crash of 2001. That was a brutal one. All those tech stocks just dropped. They just plummeted. And GameStop's going to plummet too. Have you guys been into a GameStop? Have you purchased anything, maybe for your kids or your grandkids or for yourself? Have you guys been into a GameStop lately? I kind of want to see what the response is. Because I haven't. I used to go into GameStops all the time because my kids were forever taking games there and just getting reamed on the trade-in, right? Be like an $85 game, I don't know what it was, and they'd give them like $10 in store credit or whatever to sell the game back. And I'm like, wait a minute, that game is like a week old. My kids have already outplayed it. And here we are in GameStop. And in order to buy a game now, all you do is go on Amazon and you get a digital code and you download it directly over the internet. So I don't think, I mean, GameStop, it's like Blockbuster. You know it's on its way out. And that's why it's so interesting to me. I spent a lot of time as a parent in GameStop to the point it was annoying. And that's where you would get, the consoles and all the cool stuff back in the day. But now you just buy a console from Amazon. I mean, you download your same thing, your code from Amazon, and you upload your game, or you download your game. And I actually bought, what did I buy? I bought a Xbox, and I wanted to play the new version of Doom. That didn't go well. Couldn't work out the controllers. Couldn't play the controllers well enough. And I got frustrated, and I said, screw it. And one of my kids took the Xbox and took the Doom game and whatever. And that was the end of that foray. That was at the beginning of the Rona shutdown. I wanted something to do, something to play. And instead, I ended up doing daily podcasting. What do you think about that? Crazy, huh? That's kind of what I did. It's like, if I'm going to be really bored, I might as well practice, because nobody's going to listen. Nobody's going to be here, but you guys are. So thank you for being here. Thanks for you guys showing up. Much appreciated. Okay, so I am going to Yeah, local GameStop just closed. Ours has too. One of ours has as well. Yeah, if you collect CD and DVDs, purchase an extra player and store it. Yeah. Deleted your Amazon account. Oh no, how are you going to get stuff? What are you going to do? Are you really going to go to the store? No Amazon? Hey, I agree. Amazon, it's like, oh, that's like dealing with the devil. But, just you get those packages delivered to your house. They show up and it's so magical and you're like, oh, and you buy stuff on your phone. They make it way too easy, don't they? They really do. All right. Yeah. Great podcaster. I don't know about that. I get credit for trying. Need to do some more live streaming though. I want to do more live streaming because I want to have more interaction, but what I've been working on is just putting in my reps and kind of figuring out what topics you guys want to see, what you want to hear, kind of where we're going, because I'll put up some and people are like, no, I don't really want to see that. And I know based on the views. But then there's also times when there's the inauguration and everybody's watching that. So stuff that I send out then, it's like, I don't really want to watch the Sean show. So Tim and Eric, that's funny. Thank you. I think, right? There's a lot of podcasters out there that I really respect, guys that can kind of go on and they cover way more stuff than I do because they've been doing it a lot longer and they really kind of know. You want to hear about the BLM art that Sound Transit is installing yeah, they're such a debacle. Yeah, I will cover that one in a podcast. Remind me. Some of you are still interested in the market real estate. Well, hey, Rick, I agree, but not enough of you for me to still cover it as much as I used to. I will still cover that, but the people have spoken, and even though this is the Seattle Real Estate Podcast, just don't get as much action off the real estate stuff. So what I try and do is I try and pick real estate topics that still cover what's going on, but are interesting and maybe have some protesting in there, some violent rioting, as somebody pointed out. Don't stop calling them the protesters. They're violent rioters. Yeah, well, I don't want my channel to get taken down earlier than it really probably will, right? I mean, that's something that everybody's talking about is that, hey, if you say anything that the other side doesn't like, you're probably going to get taken down. So, and I agree with that. I think I've got a limited shelf life, but I'm going to ride it out as long as I can. So if I kind of wink, call them the peaceful protesters, you know what I mean, and you know why I'm doing it. All right, so thank you for saying you like what I'm doing. Yeah, rebrand, Seattle Today podcast. Yeah, we've talked about rebranding, but you know what? It's kind of a funny thing because then I can just say, yeah, I'm a real estate guy and I read the news. And then everybody's like, oh, yeah, that makes as much sense as anything. It doesn't make any sense at all, but that's kind of what I'm known for. So now it's my niche. I sit here and I read the news and people are like, okay, there was absolutely nothing to do with real estate there, but it was entertaining. And so that's what we're going to do. So, and I try and bring my perspective to some of this as well. So let's jump Seattle Today podcast. Yeah. Black Lives Matter stands for burn, loot, and murder. Oh, that's kind of harsh. I don't disagree, though. I don't disagree. Yeah, there's enough channels out there who are strictly real estate. And you know what? I've been doing real estate for like 30 plus years, and it bores me to tears. I know it's important. Everybody's got to have a house, and it's a major component of the economy. But if I have to talk about straight up real estate and statistics, I will lose my mind. I've literally been doing this since I was a teenager. So it's no longer that fascinating or interesting to me. But talking about BLM, I mean, you can't go wrong there, right? You can't go wrong there. Okay, so we are 10 minutes after our starting point. Let's jump on in so people don't get worked up of, hey, real estate man, read the news. All right. So first one, what I did is I picked just a handful of articles here, not in any particular order, but I think they cover the topics. And then I'm also going to see what you guys are kind of, you see what you guys think. And got distracted over here, but does it affect my business? And that is something, yes, it does. And for the positive, I am not harsh enough where people can get upset with me, in my opinion, or people don't overtly get upset with me every now. I mean, I've had threats and stuff like that for sure. I've had people say, hey, I'm turning you into the FBI. And I'm like, okay, good luck with that. And let me know how that goes. Because all I'm doing is giving you my opinion on the news. And they're like, oh, but you're saying things that aren't right. Okay, well, whatever. But on the appraisal side, I get a lot of inquiries. Hey, love your podcast. My aunt died. We need an appraisal kind of thing. Or I get real estate brokers coming to my summit side. Hey, love your podcast. Want to be part of that. So I get a lot of that. And then basically, this is a third business. This is a media business here, the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. So we've just incorporated because it's a business in and of itself, and it needs to be kind of segged off of the summit side. So that's kind of what we're doing. But let's jump on in here. But yeah, it's had the podcast has had nothing but positive impacts to my business, and it's kind of one of those things where any publicity is good publicity for the most part. And I'm not a guy who's kind of doing one thing in my business life and then talking about something else on the podcast. You know those people. So I'm pretty much straight up. What I do here, what you guys see here, is kind of how I handle business throughout the rest of the course of my day. It is weird to have people come up and say, "Hey, you're that podcaster," and I'm like, "Which one?" And they're like, "Yeah, Sean-ish," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." It's like, or it's like, who's asking? Are you a process server? Because if you are, I don't know any Sean Reynolds. Not really sure. All right, let's jump on in. Not a fair market, young investors say. They have been frozen out of GameStop stock. Ugh. The battle between financial elite and small investors has put GameStop shares on a roller coaster. They're up like what? Was it the 400% or 1,000%? I've been following these stories, and it's like, oh, this is all just so crazy that it's hard to keep track of, right? People in the establishment of Wall Street really are uncomfortable with the idea that regular people might be able to have some power, said amateur investor Chris Kropos, who just graduated from the business school at UMass Amherst. There's been a lot of discussion about, well, these are just regular investors, and we need to protect their interests. That was a big storyline, right? They don't really know what they're doing. But here over on Wall Street, on the hedge fund end of things, we're going to do the same things, but we're going to protect our position. You amateurs, you don't know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. So we're going to make those decisions for you. Robinhood shut down their trading. That's kind of the way I saw it. And I was like, this is crazy. This is nuts. So Gathan Lucian, who just graduated from Quinnipiac University, agrees. It's pretty unfair to the average person like me that these hedge funds are getting saved at our expense. But is it shocking? Is this surprising? No, it's not at all. Wall Street always comes out ahead. Let's admit it, it's rigged. It truly is from that end of things. Especially the hedge fund. Those guys just dial in things and go. And what's so funny is about these trades, and if you're not familiar with this story, I'll break it down super quick. Nothing crazy. I'm kind of hoping that a lot of you have followed this. But the big hedge fund companies, basically Wall Street, they are selling these stocks that, are arguably going down. They're selling them short. They're betting they will go down. And then a subgroup of Reddit, a bunch of investors, Wall Street Bets, said, you know what? We're seeing all this activity on the short sale end of things. We're going to go long. We're going to bet that those stocks go up. And they've put enough pressure on those stocks that it has caused Wall Street and the big hedge funds, I think the latest number was like a $70 billion loss. And so Wall Street's going, what is going on? How are we getting shanked on this one? So it's a big uproar because Wall Street is not used to losing, right? In a controversial move, the app Robinhood, which now allows non-professionals like them to trade stocks, shut down GameStop trades. That was yesterday, right? That caused the stock to lose almost a third of its value. And who lost out there? The GameStop, the Robinhood investors, the Main Street, the regular guys lost out because when you stop trading, and yet Wall Street, the hedge funds were still able to execute their short sales. I mean, it's just insanity. So that caused the stock to lose almost a third of its value one day after amateur traders band together on Reddit in a buying frenzy, causing the stock to soar 6,000%. I think that's up from its low of like, made my day to see the media shaking in their boots. I know, it's awesome, right? I think it's truly entertaining. It's like, screw those guys, screw the big corporate. I mean, I've got money in there as well, but clearly I'm just an investor, and I want to see Wall Street, I want to see them have some issues. And I think they're gonna. Frail man Biden. Yeah, that's serious. That's not a fair market. It's not what a free market is, said Lucian. It's pretty much market manipulation, in my opinion. And we're going to read what the CEO of Robinhood said. He gave his explanation, and it's kind of like, really? You are telling that to us with a straight face? You are straight up lying. That's kind of my opinion. It's like, really? That's the line you're going to give me? And like I said, one of my kids does a lot of trading, and he was like, yeah, I kind of believed him. And I'm like, no, that is some nonsense. Some big the hedge funds are one of the hedge funds had to get bailed out, right? They had to bring in, what, $500 million in funds just to basically prop them up so they don't go out. I would love to see one of these hedge funds just tank, just crater. Yeah, we couldn't make it go. We had to tank. Then they'd need a bailout, and they'd probably get one. Biden would throw one out there, right? So critics say Robinhood caved under pressure from so-called Wall Street elite. I think that's what they did. Investors who bet the stock would go down and engaged in short selling. Man, the thing about hedge funds is they're always short selling stuff, and they're basically stripping out the equity of a company on its way down. That's what's going on. Is GameStop a good target? Absolutely. I don't think it's going to be here forever. But their actions just decimate a company that's on the edge. And AMC, I mean, movie company, and it was doing okay before the Rona hit, but man, just annihilated, right? I mean, are people going to go back to movie theaters? Yeah, I think they will, just out of, hey, we got to go back to the movie theaters, but it's going to take a while, and they're going to have to do social distancing and a bunch of other stuff. So, not a company that's on the up and up right now. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's a crazy world, right? Robinhood might not make it through all these lawsuits. Yeah, I agree. They may be done. But I wouldn't be surprised if they get bailed out and nothing happens. I wouldn't be surprised if they cut a deal, Robinhood cut a deal with some big Wall Street brokerage, and the Wall Street brokerage said, hey, you stop trading, we'll give you $100 million, whatever it is. I don't know. What's Robinhood worth? I don't know. Is it $500 million? What do they give them? I think something like that along those lines happened. Now, Robinhood is saying that it was a liquidity issue, that they needed to slow down the trading on the buy end because it was a liquidity issue. It's like, really? That sounds like BS. That's my opinion, but who am I to say? I'm merely just a real estate guy reading the news, right? Short sell. What it means is you're borrowing money, but if that stock actually starts going down, your loss is infinity, said financial analyst David Caruso. Now there's a war between the little guys and the big guys at the big institutions. Who has more money? I would like to see the capitalization of Wall Street, see what that looks like, and the capitalization of this conglomerate of investors, Reddit investors. Wall Street's got to have way more money, right? And so, or am I just not giving enough credit to the Main Street investor, the regular guy, us people with Robinhood type accounts? Am I just shortchanging how many of them there are out there? Because what is it? Is it a couple million in that Reddit subgroup? I'm not really sure. Yeah. California has billions in unemployment fraud too. Dark winter coming. Winter is coming, people. I think it's actually, some of it's here. It's like, oh, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing. Because I've never seen trading stop on stocks on a buy. I've seen the market halted a bunch. It's like, yeah, things got out of control. We had to halt. But never a specific platform. Oh, yeah, because of our liquidity issues, we have to stop trading on these particular stocks. And Robinhood went out and got a bunch of lines of credit, and they got some extra capital because guess what? They probably did have liquidity issues. But is that Is that their investors' problem? No. Keep the trading going, right? No, there's something going on there. It's not trading at all. It's really gambling, said Massachusetts Secretary of the Commonwealth, William Galvin, who called for Wall Street to suspend GameStop trading. It clearly affects the long-time viability of pensions and others. So Wall Street, it clearly affects Wall Street and others that have made significant investments. Okay, this is the free market. We don't really care if it impacts the long-time viability of pensions. I mean, we do, and a lot of you may have money in those pensions, but those pensions, those guys got to be smart too. And this is a double-sided game. It goes both ways. You can buy and you can sell. So you got to figure that one out. So long-time viability of pensions, all right, that's one position. And then you've got the investors on the other who are just normal people. And you might say, well, the pensions, they've got a greater stake in this, which they probably do because they've probably got more money. But it's a battle, right? I like the battle. I want to see the battle continue. Millennials see it differently. It's almost sort of reinforcing the idea that the stock market is only meant for millionaires to make more millions, said Kropos. Yes and no. I think it's, we have one of these things go on fairly often, right? Where you've got some kind of something that pops up in the stock market and everybody just instantly becomes aware of the stock market. It's kind of like, I think it was in it was in the late 20s when the saying was 1920s, right before the Great Depression, not the Great Recession, the Great Depression, that if I can't remember if it wasn't your taxi cab driver, I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody kind of in the lower socioeconomic tier of things. If that person is talking to you about stocks, then that's when you should not be investing because a massive crash is coming. And we seem to have these fairly often because our memory doesn't seem to be that great. And I kind of look at this and go, geez, I'm not doing any of this. This makes no sense to me. This is not investing. This is straight up gambling in my head. When you're talking about going in and out of a company within a day or two, that's not investing. That is straight up gambling with a Robinhood app on your phone while you're going through the drive-through at McDonald's, because that's the way I think a lot of these investors do it. I like number 2, Supersize Me, and 100 shares of Enron, whatever. Thursday afternoon, Robinhood said, this was yesterday, Robinhood said it will allow limited buys of shares of GameStop and some other stocks on Friday. We're going to get the trading back going, but we're going to limit you. You can only do so much. Mark my words, next crash will be blamed on Trump. Yep, I agree, guaranteed. I don't know where you guys are living, where you're currently residing, but our COVID restrictions are getting lifted left and right here in Washington. We have the second most restricted state in the United States. And the data and the science clearly don't support this, but guess what? That's what we're doing because the election is over. That is honestly what I believe, that this no longer serves its purpose. And it's actually impacting the economy. Can you believe that? And maybe our governors are like, oh, whew, these numbers are not looking good. Better get that economy opened back up. And then we're just going to bamboozle them with more statistics. And based on the data and the science, this is what we're doing. It's craziness. But it gives me something to talk about and you guys something to talk about too, right? It's like, geez, look at the train wreck of this deal. All right, let's jump on over to Robinhood CEO says the trading app limited buying of GameStop to, quote, here we go, to protect the firm and protect our customers. This is in your best interest. It's in your best interest that we shut down your business. Have we heard this one before? It's because you can say it, and if people have a chance in their heads to think, oh, they're looking out for me. This is for me. They care about me. It's about my safety. Okay, all right. Well, can you tell me when I can trade again? Although my stock has lost 50% of its value, my long position, sure would like to buy some more, but I can't. Can you tell me when I can buy again? I mean, that's literally what happened to thousands of investors out there yesterday. So let's see what the CEO of Robinhood, and okay, it's basically run by a kid, right? And when I say kid, I mean anybody under about 38. That's kind of where I'm at now. You know what I mean? I'm 52, and it's like, all right, I have no idea how old that person is, They're way younger than me. They're a kid, and they're running a major company and maybe making some decisions that are questionable at best because they haven't been around long enough. And I get reminded about that all the time. This guy's the CEO. God, I'm old. Yeah. Yeah. Seriously, right? I mean, let's go back up and take a quick peek there. He looks like a protester. If you didn't have that damn watch on. I mean, look. That's the CEO of Robinhood. All right. I don't know. I'm just getting old. It's like, nah, that's not how you run a business. But apparently it is. Apparently that is what we're doing in 2021. Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev said on Thursday that the company's move to restrict trading of GameStop, AMC, and other stocks was in the best interest of the app, okay, because of liquidity issues, and its users. Those fine 3 words. This is for our users. This is for your safety. In order to protect the firm and protect our customers, we had to limit buying in these stocks, Tenev's told at CNBC. I bet you did. On Thursday, the stock trading app blocked purchases of 13 equities, including GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry. BlackBerry is still a publicly traded company. Can you believe that? I used to have one of those and trying to email back in the day. Ooh, that was difficult. Hooking up to the internet. Oh, this interweb, this is not going well. That was really hard to do. And then Android came out and it's like, oh, this is better. iPhone's probably even better, but I'm an old school business guy, and back in the day, you didn't buy Apple products because a lot of your business applications didn't run on Apple. I know it's different now, but I'm still stuck in that old Android thing and Windows PC. And Nokia is another one that's been thrown around in here, right? Users were furious, and even one launched a class action suit against Robinhood. I think it's more than that now. Later in the day, the company announced it would reopen limited purchases of the affected stocks. Once Wall Street was able to do their thing on the short selling end of things, they were able to get a little bit more traction on their end. And, okay, yeah, now you guys can go ahead and buy some more. That's what's happening. And we won't limit it to just you selling out at a massive loss. We're going to give you an option here. You're going to be able to do your thing. Tenev said, the CEO, Tenev said that Thursday was a challenging day. Challenging. Well, you might have tanked your company, right? And that the firm had to make a difficult decision as part of normal operations. When I read that, I'm like, that's some nonsense. This is not normal operations. You've got a pretty massive situation on your hand, and you are kind of being pretty dismissive of what's going on. It's a difficult decision. That could be a game changer. That's more than a difficult decision. That is a huge decision to take one segment of the United States investment population and say, you can't really do much with your account on these stocks. Sorry guys, come back later. We'll let you know when it's safe for you to trade. Here's another quote. It pains us, right here, it pains us to have had to impose these restrictions. I bet it did because you knew it was massive impacts to your company, right? Adding that Robinhood would do what it could to enable trading in these stocks soon. Oh, we are going to help you out. We're going to be good friends after this is all said and done. We want to retain you as a customer, and we're going to let you trade in these stocks soon. It's just craziness. He said that he wanted to address misinformation and stressed that the company did not do this at the direction of any market maker. Interesting that he's addressing that, right? Or is it? Does everybody kind of know? You are not telling us the truth. That's what I think. What do you guys think? I'm going to look at some of the comments here now. I wonder if anybody's yelled at Biden elder abuse. Yeah, when you see all those, I don't know if you guys watch Tim Pool. I do. I think he's super entertaining. But he's got that whole thing down where he is able to regurgitate what Biden said in one of those when he just garbles all the words together. Tim Pool has got that down, and it is I think it's one of the funniest things. It's kind of like he just says just a bunch of gibberish, and Tim's able to just say that exactly, and it's like, you're making fun of a senior citizen that's probably got some early onset dementia. People are saying that's a speech impediment, but I don't know. When he says that stuff, I'm kind of like, that's more than a senior moment there. That's some nonsense coming out of your mouth. Don't really know what you said. It's just kind of crazy. Yeah, Biden is demented. I am afraid that is probably the case. And I think we knew it going into it. And I don't think the other side really cared. They're just like, whatever, this is our guy. We're going to run him. We don't care that he's, what is he, 77 years old? He's just old. Yeah, what is it? Trunanabada Shabada pressure? Yeah, I mean, he said that. And people are like, oh, it's just a speech. No, that's, yeah. Trunanada, yeah, it's just crazy that he said that. And everybody else is like, what? This is normal. This is what our guy says. This is how our guy handles things. Okay. Let's move on here. AMC and GameStop stock jumps. Reddit's insane battle, this is CNET. Insane battle with Wall Street is a train wreck. Yeah, and that's why you got to keep watching it, because it's like, how is this going to turn out? Well, it's going to turn out good for Wall Street and the hedge funds. It's not going to turn out good for the other guys. So my advice to the kids out there that I kind of deal with is, if you can lose that money, that's fine. And if you're just gambling with it, that's fine. But if you've got some winnings in there, take it and invest it, because time is on your side. If you guys invest now, maybe tap out an IRA, whatever, put that money aside, you will thank me later. Of course, they won't do that, because when you're young, the world is your oyster, and you've got so much more time that you can't be bothered with conservative investing. No siree, not happening. I was the same way when I was that age. Screw the old people. They don't know what they're talking about. They have no idea. I'm just going to go do this because this makes sense to me right now. And that's a whole generation of investors out there right now who are on their phone, on their Robinhood app, doing their thing, and they don't really get that a lot of these companies, and I don't think they care, a lot of these companies don't have the intrinsic value that they're being traded at. GameStop is not worth $400 a share. I think it went all the way up to $480 a share. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, if you're under 30, you have to go big or go home. I guess you do. I am not under 30. I'm not going big, but I will go home today at some point in time. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, go big or go home. Oh, scary. GameStop is one of those stores nearly every gamer has a story about, and every parent, I think, right? I can't tell you how many, probably thousands of dollars I've spent there. Can we go to GameStop? No, I'm not getting you another game. They're really expensive, and you only play them for a couple of weeks, and you claim you're all played out. No. Okay, if you'll be quiet, let's go to GameStop. I mean, perfect parenting, right? No. Many of today's adults spent their childhoods in one of the stores, lining up for launches. Oh, we did that. We'd get there like midnight. Oh, the game's coming out. Lining up for launches and buying or selling consoles and video games. Now some of those people have made a fortune buying the company's stock and encouraging their friends on Reddit to buy it too. GameStop stock has rocketed higher than ever expected, and all because activity between social media investors began pushing it up. So let's talk about that for a second. How many other stocks are going to be put in play? How many do you think are going to be put in play? I think a lot, because now the Reddit guys, they've kind of got it down. They're going to look and see whenever something is got a short position on it, they're going to go the other way. And they've finally figured out, well, if we band together, we can make this happen. And I know there's been some talk of regulation. Well, if there's a lot of chit chat on social media, you know what? We're going to restrict sale of those stocks. We're just going to clamp on down. That isn't the free economy, isn't it? That's not capitalism. That's not the free market. That's restricted. And that, I'm afraid, is where we are headed. Wall Street had bet heavily that the price would fall, leading the stock to swing wildly. Jamie Rogozinski, the apparent founder of the Reddit community at the heart of all this, told the Wall Street Journal, "It's like a train wreck happening in real time." On Thursday alone, GameStop stock hit all-time highs of $492.02, almost $500 a share. And it was at like $5 not long ago, only to drop by more than half a minute later. That is volatility, my friends. That is not a game you want to play, because you will lose. That is my financial advice today. I am not a financial guy. I'm a real estate guy. Don't play this game unless you can afford to lose the money. That would be my advice What do I know? On Friday afternoon, it jumped up to this afternoon. It jumped up to $324. I think it was all the way down to 180 earlier in the day. Is what I remember. So gyrations all over the place, and you know this is just crazy. It's just nutty. So GameStop itself hasn't fundamentally changed much in the past month, but its stock has shot up as much as 1,800%. It's not a typo since the beginning of the year. This dynamics led Wall Street investors who bet against the company's future to lose billions of dollars. I think it's like 70 billion right now. And the excitement is driving the hype even further. Over the past week, the financial world watched in shock as GameStop stock rose to unthinkable levels. Even Elon Musk tweeted about it, pointing his 43 million followers to a link of the Reddit community investing in GameStop called Wall Street Bets. I think it's super entertaining that this is happening. I think it is just like a train wreck, and you can't look away. It's like, let's go see what's happening with GameStop now, or AMC, or whatever. Reddit is self-censoring. They close the subreddit only for invited members. Yeah, I heard that as well too. Yeah, it's a Wall Street insurrection. Agreed. It's just entertaining. I just sold my soul to buy more GameStop. It's going to the moon, baby. I hope for your sake it is. If it's not, you'll just have to deal with that. Our government is completely broken. Yep, agreed. Yeah, glad this is happening to the people that have been siphoning 401ks for decades. Casey, a lot of that out there, right? I mean, and what is interesting about this story is that it brings both the left and the right together, because everybody has been screwed by big corporate, by Wall Street in the past. Everybody has been screwed. I mean, that's the way I see it. Wall Street gets bailed out. The little guy, you and I as investors, we don't get anything. What we get is, here's your $400 stimulus check or your $600 stimulus check because you've been good. And we know you waited a long time. Here it is. Here's your little morsel of whatever. Now be thankful, say thank you, go away, and come back another time when you need, help again. That's literally how this has gone. By the close of regular trading on Wednesday afternoon, the stock was $347.51 per share, up from historic lows of around $3.30 per share in the summer of 2019. So, that is an enormous run. And the value is what? GameStop's value is, I think, somewhere around $10. I think it's legit worth like $10. And yet, and that's some of the stuff that I've been talking to my kid about. Kiernan, who's an investor or gambler, shall we say, a smart gambler, but it's gambling nonetheless. And I keep telling him, Kiernan, if you look at the inherent value of this company, it's not $300, $400, almost $500 worth. So what's going to happen? Yeah, it's probably going to go back down, but it might go to the moon. It literally might go to the moon if it has enough pressure on it. And so you don't know. So what's the right call? I guess you got to make that guess. Yeah, you just got to make that guess. Meanwhile, stock market trading app Robinhood appeared to stop GameStop purchasing for part of the, yeah, it did. It straight up did. So that's, I don't think there's a ton more in this article. Let's talk about Jim Cramer for a second, all right? We're seeing a phenomenon that I've never seen. Jim Cramer, a Wall Street commentator on CNBC and a former hedge fund manager, said during a segment Monday, and GameStop could be just the start. It's insane. Can't you see him saying that? This may seem like an oddball story about Wall Street investors being overrun by excited social media users. For some, it's been fun to watch those investors get taken to the cleaners by a bunch of people posting rocket emojis. Yeah, rocket emojis, right? That's funny. Saying GameStop shares will go to the moon, right? We just talked about it. So yeah, it's happening. But for some on Wall Street, it's the latest sign of how social media can upend everyday life. And that is happening. Things are changing so rapidly. I just recorded a podcast on Jake Paul Now, if you're familiar with him, great. If you're not, he's a YouTuber with 25 million followers. He's been doing the exhibition boxing matches. And is he a good boxer? I don't think so. But he's good enough to have a whole bunch of people buy his pay-per-view. And he's been making some massive changes as far as the way that sports promoters and media are looking at how they're going to handle sporting events down the road. That's going to change big time. That's already happening. A freaking YouTuber who all of a sudden decided, well, I'm going to take my 25 million YouTube followers and my 15 million Instagram followers. That's 40 million people. I'm going to capitalize that. I'm going to start boxing. I'm going to do exhibition boxing matches because he's already really good at calling people out and getting lots of interest, lots of social media. He basically does some, pretty brutal things, and he puts his, he just does crazy stuff, right? I mean, it's not stuff that you and I would be like, oh yeah, okay, I want to watch this for an hour. Be like, well, that's quite a stunt. Next, let's go watch some adult do something of significance instead of that. But social media is changing stuff left and right, and we're watching it unfold before us. And a lot of it is, oh my gosh, what is going on? This is nuts. But again, I find it entertaining to watch. And YouTube and Instagram, right here, YouTube and Instagram have transformed the fashion, beauty, and entertainment industries. Now Reddit is taking on Wall Street. And that's the storyline that I think is pretty cool. It's like, okay, let's see how much damage Robinhood investors can do. How much fight can they put up against Wall Street? I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty fierce. To the moon, right? These words have overlapped as well. Fans of Korean pop groups known as K-pop stars post floods of tweets about their favorite stars to overwhelm racist hashtags on Twitter. We're manipulating things. We're just manipulating things left and right. And TikTokers banded together in attempts to confuse President Donald Trump's re-election campaign. And it worked for a little while, right? Until people were like, hey, wait a minute. What's going on? Oh, the TikTokers. They're doing something. They're trying to confuse us. And they did. And it worked. And it was like, wow, if that can happen, this doesn't surprise me. It just, this just kind of keeps happening. Now emboldened Reddit communities are talking about their taking on other companies that Wall Street is broadly betting against. That is what I'm kind of thinking. We're going to see more and more of that. Are they going to have like secret communities? Are they going to have offline stuff where you do a members only thing? I'm seeing so much more. Do you guys belong to any members only or any Patreon where you pay money for special content? I don't. I look at that and go, yeah, I don't really think that's worth it. But, there are some people where I'm like, yeah, I could see buying that extra content. But so many of the content providers now, they're basically, and guys doing what I do but are kind of more hardcore, they are creating their own basically distribution channels because they know they're going to get booted. So the Reddit crowd, do they create their own distribution, their own ability to band together and communicate? Probably, because I think that is going to get really, really scrutinized. Oh, you're part of the Reddit investing crowd? You need to talk to you. What are you doing? It's crazy. The Reddit crowd is already attempting to push up BlackBerry, the once popular handset maker that now focuses primarily on selling business software. I guess I knew they did that, but BlackBerry, it just seems so, I don't know, when was that phone popular? 20 years ago? I think it probably was. The Redditors are also targeting the struggling movie chain AMC, pushing its stock from hovering around $2 per share to more than $8 in after-hours trading. By Wednesday afternoon, it closed at $19.90 per share before dropping to $12.75. On Thursday, it fell even further to $8.63 per share. That's the gyrations of a penny stock. It just is. That's like a pump and dump. I mean, these are classic things, right, that occur, and now we are watching them in plain view on CNBC, and we're talking about it. And Wall Street and the hedge funds are going, oh, yeah, this is reprehensible. Oh, this is horrible. This is not good for the investors. It's not good for the investment community. It's not good for our pension plans. It's not good for us at Wall Street. They never say that. They always spin it like, well, it's not good for the individual investor. Of course not, because the yeah, people just, BlackBerry is Canadian. Okay, there are a lot of cool things that are Canadian. Did you know Pornhub is Canadian as well? I had no idea. It's like, really? All right, those nice Canadians, they got something else going on too. It's pretty funny. Meantime, traffic to the Reddit community at the center of the drama, Wall Street Bets, is breaking records. Wall Street Bets counted 73 million page views for its discussion boards on Tuesday, according to a report by Mashable. Over the past week, it hit about 700 million page views. Reddit is already the 46th most popular site on the interweb, notching more than 78 million unique visitors in December. It's according to ComScore. And on Wednesday, the Reddit's mobile app tallied its biggest single day of downloads. Do you guys use Reddit? I do not. I've only got so many things that I can get to. People are always saying, Sean, you got to get a Twitter account. I have one. I haven't used it in years. I don't really use it. I don't need more things to occupy my time that don't really help me out with my businesses. And I know you're going to say, yeah, but people might want to hear what you want to say. Yeah, I just focus on my YouTube content as a result because I can only do so much. I haven't touched my Instagram or my YouTube in quite a while. I think before my birthday last November, because it's not part of my day-to-day operations anymore. I'm just kind of focused on giving you guys the best content I can and just kind of, yeah, I deleted all mine. I know, right? Yeah, I only use Twitter to look up stock news. I know, we're starting to get to that point where we're using social media for like super specific individual things. And I've got that too. It's like, I want to go look up Elon Musk, what he said. And a lot of what is going on now, the news I read, they're just Twitter wars. And it's like, okay, you've got a bunch of really rich, spoiled people tweeting at each other all the time. And yeah, YouTube is the only one left, and they will be soon also. Yeah, I think YouTube is not forever. Live streaming is a step up. Yeah, I live streaming and YouTube to me, because the reason I like YouTube is not everybody does it because it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to put out content because it's long format. You can't just sit there and bang out a post in like a couple of minutes, throw a photo on there and have it go out there. The YouTube game is really difficult because there's so much involved. And that to me is like, all right, if I'm going to do something social media wise, it might as well be, the one that I get the most return from, and that is YouTube. And it's kind of hard, but if you can make it go, it's a pretty effective way, because then I can have all these podcasts out there and people are like, oh, hey, you're the real estate dude. And I'm like, yeah. I don't know. That just seems to be kind of where we're headed. I have no idea. Yeah, what is Reddit? Reddit. Yeah, it's, you guys answer him. What is Reddit? The Seattle cyclist. It's really super interesting to see how people describe some of these. Twitter is a micro blog. Facebook, I don't even know how you describe that anymore. Instagram is pretty pictures of stuff with funny quotes. Twitter is trash. I agree. Yeah, it's not something that I want to, I just don't want to be there. It's like people just yelling at each other, all right? So here's a quote from a prominent GameStop investor. "This is unnatural, insane, and dangerous." Prominent GameStop investor and one of the subjects of the book and movie, The Big Short. Did you guys see the movie The Big Short? That was a great movie. That really was. That was a great movie. Super interesting. Financial movies I enjoy, The Big Short, Wall Street. What's the other one with Vin Diesel? They're traders. You guys know which one I'm talking about. That was an amazing movie. How many other financial movies there are? None are really coming to head, but Wall Street's probably my famous one. Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott Steel. That was a great one. So let's move on. Let's move on to our last article here, and it's a quick one. And I'll probably let you guys go because you guys got better things to do than listen to me sit here and talk about Reddit and all this other nonsense. But hey, thank you for being here. Much appreciated. I'm going to try and do this more and more because I like the contact here, and I wish I could read this more over here. The Other Guys was a finance movie, if you pay attention. I don't know if I have seen that. I got recommended a movie from one of you guys. Came out in 1968, and I'm going to watch that this weekend. I can't remember what it was, but it was about Republicans basically doing some protesting and in a rock band. I don't know. They were taking a bunch of acid, as you do in 1968, year I was born. Let's read this last article here, and it's not long, but it's shocking. I can't believe this. The White House refuses to address the GameStop controversy. Can you imagine? Can you believe that? They're just not even going to admit that it's going on. Press Secretary Psaki punts on market volatility, refers reporters to SEC. And yesterday, when this came up, she basically said, "Oh, we've got the first female Secretary of the Treasury." She just went on this other direction. They asked her a direct question, and she answered it with something totally else that made no sense. And at the end, you're like, but you didn't answer the question at all. We've got a major crisis going on here. You got Wall Street versus the little guy, and you're answering questions about, you're just making stuff up. It was just like, great start to the new administration, right? The White House is staying out of the GameStop controversy. Yeah, Yellen. Yeah. I just want to see what you guys are saying here for a second. Yeah, female Treasury Secretary, Yellen. Yellen got paid a bunch of money for speaking engagements to the hedge funds, a bunch. And I think also, who was the other one that did a lot of that? Hillary Clinton. She made a ton of money talking to Wall Street. And then people wanted to see how much and what her speeches were about, and she didn't want to release that. That was very secretive. It was just kind of crazy. Yeah, she saw the question coming. She started twiddling her hair. I saw that too. It's like, oh yeah, when somebody's got that nervous twitch, you're like, okay, she's gonna distract us and try and lie to us here. So, yeah. Just nuts, right? So the White House is staying out of the GameStop controversy. Asked about the market volatility during Friday morning's press briefing, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, am I pronouncing that right? I think I am. I assume the P is kind of silent there, Psaki, punted on the question and directed reporters to statements by the Securities and Exchange Commission. I don't really know the answer to this. I am the press secretary. Why don't you guys go talk to the SEC? I mean, couldn't you do that for anything? Yeah, I don't really know the answer to that question. Why don't you guys go talk to the FBI? I don't really know that. Why don't you talk to the whatever? Just not how you handle things. You got to have some kind of opinion, or maybe you don't. They are closely monitoring this situation, but it is under their purview at this point of time, Psaki said, declining to speak specifically about the situation. President Biden met on Friday with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen this afternoon, but Psaki declined to say whether the two would discuss GameStop. Yellen received around $810,000. Okay, so that's the number over on my other screen over here you're talking about. She received $810,000 in speaking fees from the hedge fund that bailed out one of the primary losers. I saw that yesterday. Bailed out one of the primary losers in the recent GameStop frenzy. And it came a day after, and this is what I was kind of talking about. Came a day after during Thursday's briefing. Also the same gal refused to answer directly about the controversy. The chaos started when a Reddit group called, okay, now they're just describing that. She basically just said, and I repeat, we have a female Secretary of the Treasury now. And it's like, all right, that's not the question we asked. But, that's where we're headed. That's where we're going. We're just not really answering any questions here. So, all right, guys, that's what I've got. I'm going to read some comments over here, and we will wrap up. But thank you so much for being here and being supportive of the channel. we hit 10 million views here, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and it was like, wow, that's a lot of views. But it's because of you guys watching. Thank you so much, and it's been wild. We're closing in. I think we're getting pretty close to 45,000 subscribers or something like that. But I kind of want to do. I like being able to see what you guys are saying directly here on the live stream. So we're going to keep doing that, and hopefully I can kind of get better and better at this, because I know we've had some technical issues in the live stream, and it's been really it's been frustrating for you to listen to, and I want to make the content as good as I can. Yeah. So okay, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you all for your comments. I'll go back and review a bunch of these comments. There were some good ones in there that I couldn't get to either. It's like, I want to address them all, and I can't. If you guys want to send me email, I am Sean, SEAN, at the one we're using is SeattleRealEstatePodcast.com. So Sean at SeattleRealEstatePodcast.com. We will be getting a P.O. box soon, so you can send me stuff, because I'm getting a bunch of stuff, and I want to do an unboxing video. Right? It's where you just unbox a bunch of stuff that people gave you, and you go, oh, this is really cool. Because, I mean, who doesn't want to get random stuff from strangers? That's so cool. All right. Thank you so much, Elaine Smith. You are welcome. I'm out of here, guys. Thanks again. I will catch up with you. We're releasing 2 podcasts Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday we release 1. I'm going to keep doing that. Coronavirus and all, shutdowns, no shutdowns. We're just going to keep going. Thanks again for being part of the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. Stay safe out there. Hope you're having a good day, good afternoon, whatever. Go kickstart your weekend. All right? All right, guys. Catch up soon. Talk to you then. Bye. Can I shut down the live stream? Am I capable?